study about the flower, something again very interesting, parts of a flower. So beta, very short, it's not in much details, but still you'll come across some very new terms and you'll enjoy studying them. Is it okay? We are studying parts of a flower. We know that we have four walls of a flower, WHORLS. Four walls of a flower which are calyx, corolla, androecium and gynoecium. Is it okay? So how many walls are there in a flower? We have four walls in a flower. Walls we call them, not WALLS, no. Walls. WHORLS. Walls. They are calyx, corolla, androecium and gynoecium. Now let's talk about the first one, that is the calyx. This is the outermost wall of a flower. So if I tell you which is the outermost wall, WHORL, outermost wall of a flower, it is the calyx. Is it okay? And its members are called sepals. That means all sepals together make up what we call as calyx. So its members, the members of calyx are called sepals. Or in simple language, to understand all the sepals together combined, we call them as what? We call it as calyx. We know what are sepals, beta. They are generally green leaf-like structures which protect the flower when the flower is in bud stage. If you pick up a rose bud, you will see small green leaves surrounding the bud. Those green small leaves which are protecting the flower in the bud stage, pick up a flower bud, this is the easiest way to look for a sepal. So those are what we call as sepals, and all the sepals together is what we call as corolla. This is the outermost wall of a flower. Moving on to the second part, that is the second wall, that is called as corolla. I told you what is calyx. Calyx is the outermost wall. It is made up of sepals. Sepals are green. They protect the flower when it is in bud position. The second wall is what we call as corolla. COROLLA, corolla. This is the second wall. This is made up of petals. The members are petals. Like all the sepals together are known as calyx. Similarly, all the petals together are what we call as corolla. Now, we know that these petals are generally bright in color, and we know why they are bright. Generally, they are bright to attract insects for pollination. So, difference between calyx and corolla. The members of calyx are called as sepals, or you can say all sepals together are calyx. The members of all the corolla members are called petals, or all petals together is what we call as corolla. Now, like calyx, corolla, and now let me move on to the arrangement. Let's go back to calyx beta. Sometimes the sepals in calyx are united and sometimes they are free. So on the basis of the fact whether the sepals are united or they are free, we have two kinds of calyx. It could be, the calyx may be gamosepalous or polysepalous. I am talking about sepals, okay? If the sepals are united, we call the calyx as gamosepalous. So what is a gamosepalous calyx? A calyx in which sepals are united is known as gamosepalous. But if the sepals are free, they are not united, then the calyx is known as polysepalous. So gamosepalous and polysepalous. What is gamosepalous calyx? If the sepals are united, we call it as gamosepalous, and if the sepals are free, we call them as polysepalous. Like calyx, corolla also can be, like the petals can be free or they can be united. If the petals are united, the corolla we will call as gamopetalous. Like we had gamosepalous, when sepals were united we were calling gamosepalous. If petals are united, we call it as gamopetalous. And if the petals are free, we call it as polypetalous. I hope it's very clear. Gamosepalous, sepals united. Gamopetalous, petals united. Polysepalous, sepals free, and polypetalous, petals free. We know that the size, the shape, the color of petals is it varies a lot in different kind of plants. We move on. We have done four terms over here: gamosepalous, gamopetalous, polysepalous, polypetalous. Gamo means united. So when I say gamosepalous, sepals are united. If I say gamopetalous, petals are united. When I say poly, it means free. So when I say polysepalous, free sepals. When I say polypetalous, it is free petals. The next new term for you is estivation. AESTIVATION, estivation. See beta. The pattern of arrangement of sepals and petals in the floral bud. How are sepals and petals arranged in the floral bud? This arrangement is what we call as estivation. So what is estivation? It is a pattern of arrangement of sepals and petals in the floral bud. How many types of estivation we have? The first kind of estivation today we will be studying about is valvate. V-A-L-V-A-T-E. Valvate estivation. Is it okay for everybody? Valvate, V-A-L-V-A-T-E. When the sepals and petals in a wall just touch one another at the margin without overlapping. Please look here. Sepals and petals. Is it okay? Sepals and petals, if you see, they touch each other where? They touch each other only at the margins, but there is no overlapping. This is not overlapping with this is not overlapping with this is not overlapping with this. So what is happening over here? Sepals and the petals, they touch each other only at the margins. They are touching each other only at the margins, but there is no overlapping. Such kind of an estivation is known as valvate estivation, V-A-L-V-A-T-E, and you will find it in Calotropis. Where? Calotropis. Now the second kind of estivation is twisted estivation. T-W-I-S-T-E-D, twisted estivation. See beta, if one margin of the appendage, one margin of this overlaps that of the next one. Okay, see. If one margin of the appendage overlaps that of the next one and so on. See over here. This margin is overlapping this one. So on. Similarly, this is overlapping this one. Similarly, this is overlapping this one. Similarly, this is overlapping this one. So if one side is overlapping, one margin is overlapping, this kind of an estivation is known as twisted estivation. One margin only is overlapping. If you see over here, one margin is overlapping. Such kind of an estivation is known as twisted estivation. Moving on to third one, imbricate. I-M-B-R-I-C-A-T-E. I-M-B-R-I-C-A-T-E. Imbricate estivation. What happens in this? If the margins of the sepals and the petals overlap one another, they are overlapping, but not in any particular direction. Anyway, see, there is overlapping, but there is no fixed direction. It's overlapping this side, it's overlapping this side, it's overlapping this side. So overlapping is taking place, but there is no fixed direction. There is no particular direction. Then such kind of an estivation is known as imbricate. I-M-B-R-I-C-A-T-E. For example, if you see Gulmohar, you can always see it very commonly. This is Gulmohar. The last estivation is vexillary. This is the most interesting one. V-E-X-I-L-L-A-R-Y. Vexillary. V-E-X-I-L-L-A-R-Y. Vexillary estivation. The other name for vexillary estivation is papilionaceous. You may find it a little difficult. Papi, P-A-P-I, papi. You can write lion, L-I-O-N, lion, and aceous, A-C-E-O-U-S. Easy way to learn. Papi, lion, aceous. Papilionaceous. How do you write it so that the spelling becomes easy for you? Papi, P-A-P-I, papi. Lion, L-I-O-N, lion, and aceous, A-C-E-O-U-S. Papi, lion, aceous. This is papilionaceous is the other name for vexillary estivation. V-E-X-I-L-L-A-R-Y. This is very interesting if you can see over here. See beta, sometimes we have 5 petals. For example, in pea plant, we have how many? 5 petals. Now, the largest petals, the largest petal is known as the standard petal. If you can see, this is the largest petal I made. This largest petal is called the standard petal. This largest petal or the standard petal, this will overlap the 2 smaller petals. See over here, these 2 are smaller. They are known as wings. What do we call them as? Wings. This was standard, the largest petal was standard petal. This is completely overlapping these 2. These 2 are called wings. And these wings will in turn overlap the 2 smallest petals, which are known as keel. K-E-E-L, keel. So these 5 petals can be divided into 3 categories. The largest petal is called standard, the middle sized ones are called wings, and the smallest petals are called keel, K-E-E-L, keel. So what happens in vexillary or papilionaceous estivation? This is the largest petal, this one. Okay, we call it a standard petal. This overlaps these 2 petals. These 2 petals are known as wings, and these wings in turn overlap these smallest petals, which are known as keel. So this estivation is what we call as vexillary. Very fast, we get gamosepalous, polysepalous, gamopetalous, polypetalous. Just remember, gamo means united. Okay, so if I say gamosepalous, it's sepals united. If I say gamopetalous, it's petals united. Poly means free. So if it is polysepalous, sepals are free. Polypetalous, petals are free. Estivation, arrangement of sepals and petals. Different types of estivation. First is volvate. Sepals and petals, they just touch each other at margins, touch each other at margins, but there is no overlapping. This is volvate. Then we have twisted. One margin is overlapping. Okay, this is twisted. Imbricate, margins are overlapping but not in any particular direction. And the most interesting one I told you, where we had 5 petals, vexillary or papilliaceous estivation, where the standard petal, the biggest petal, overlaps the next two, which are known as wings, which in turn overlap the 2 smallest petals, which are known as keel. See, this is your keel, smallest one, these 2 are your wings, and this is the standard petal. Moving on to the next part, we have done calyx, we have done corolla, now we are moving on to androecium. Okay, see beta, androecium is very simple. Androecium actually means we are talking about stamens. You know that each stamen represents the male reproductive organ. You also know about its structure, that it has a stalk and a swollen tip, which is called anther. Now the anther is bilobed. Bilobed means it has 2 lobes. Each anther is bilobed and each lobe has 2 chambers. Each anther is bilobed and each lobe has 2 chambers. That means how many chambers? 4 chambers. Each anther is bilobed. Each lobe has 2 chambers. These chambers are what we call as pollen sacs. What are they called? Pollen sacs. SACs, pollen sacs. Now pollen grains, they are present in the pollen sacs. Beta, we generally take it as a male reproductive organ. Androecium stamens we know, but sometimes there are some stamens which are not fertile. They are sterile. So those which are not fertile, the word is used sterile. S-T-E-R-I-L-E, sterile. So if a stamen is sterile, it is known as staminode. S-T-A-M-I-N-O-D-E. So what is staminode? A sterile stamen is called staminode. What is stamen? It is a male reproductive organ. It has 2 lobes. Each lobe has 2 chambers, which are known as pollen sacs. And pollen grains are produced in the pollen sac. Sterile stamen is what we call a staminode. Now these stamens could be united with other members such as petals. You know, sometimes these stamens, they get united with other members of the plant, for example petals, or with among themselves. Remember beta, if the stamens are attached to petals, then what are we going to call them as? Epipetalous. Epipetalous combination is a combination where stamens are attached to petals. Epipetalous. Stamens, they are attached to petals, for example brinjal. But if petals are attached to the perianth, then they are known as epiphylous. E-P-I-Epi, P-H-Y-L-L-O-U-S, epiphylous. When petals are attached to perianth. You very well remember what is perianth. I told you when calyx and corolla are not distinguished in lily, they are fused. So that is what we call as perianth. And if the petals are attached to the perianth, then such combination is known as epiphylous. The example of course is lily. But if stamens are free, they are not attached to any other part, then they are known as polyandrous. P-O-L-Y-A-N-D-R-O-U-S, for example China rose. So we had 3 kinds of combinations for petals, for stamens. If stamens are attached to petals, they are called epipetalous, for example brinjal. If petals are attached to perianth, then we call them as epiphylous. But if stamens are free, they are not attached, then we call them as polyandrous, for example China rose. But if all the stamens unite in one bunch or one bundle, all the stamens they unite and it looks like one bunch or one bundle, then we call them as monoadelphous. What are they called? Monoadelphous. Example is China rose, monoadelphous. But if they are found in 2 bundles, all the stamens are combined together but not in one bundle, you will find 2 bunches or 2 bundles, then they are known as diadelphous. What are they called? Diadelphous. And if they are in more than 2 bundles, we call them as polyadelphous. So in androecium we had new terms. First was staminode. A sterile stamen is called staminode. Then we did stamens may be united to other members such as petals, or they could be free. On the basis of this, we did is stamens are attached to petals, they are called as epipetalous. But if petals are attached to the perianth, if they are attached to perianth, then they are known as epiphylous. And if stamens are free, then they are known as polyandrous. And if all the stamens unite in one bunch, one bundle, then it is monoadelphous arrangement. If they unite and form two bundles, then diadelphous arrangement. And if it is more than two, then it is polyadelphous arrangement. That's all about calyx, corolla